Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the 2022 Mexico Open. This is going to be my DFS pick show, and I'm also going to give you my one and done. First off and foremost, thank you for stopping by. I'm going to go through all the analysis of the player field, the guys that I'm picking, and give you all the information to hopefully get you some thoughts and get you the guys that you might want to put in your core player pool. Okay, with that said, let's talk some golf. All right, again, I'm going to keep bringing these guys up for you. If you are looking for a unique custom gift for your golfer, it could be Mother's Day, Father's Day, go check out Craftsman Golf at www.craftsmangolf.com. If you purchase something for 40 bucks or more, put in my promo code GolfGuru20 and you're going to get $20 off that item. And again, everything from custom head covers, woods, putters, you've got the yardage book covers, the rangefinder covers, you name it, they've got it. Go give them a look and use the promo code GolfGuru20. So if you missed yesterday's show on the preview, I went through the course in quite detail. Out of that, of course, I can figure out what am I going to be looking for, and of course, we need a little bit of distance. This is a very long and going to be, I think, a pretty tough track, even though it is a resort course. They've lengthened, typically it plays as a par 73. They turn some of those par 4s into par 5s. So long story short, we need guys with some pop off the bat. You always need good irons coming in. So approach, ball striking, around the green to sand saves, prox to the pin. I think you're going to have some long shots in, and especially if you're trying to go for those par 5s and you got those long par 4s. You got prox to the pin, 150 to 175 is the other one that I see. I put back in the par 3s because there are 5 of them, and I turned it to 175, 200. And also you've got those 4 par 5s, 3 of them coming in over 600, and you got to make birdies. I think, if I had to take a guess what these guys will shoot at this track without ever seeing it, I think it's going to get into high teens. Will be your winner somewhere, if I had to guess, around 18 under. So we'll see how that all fares out. Okay, and one thing I wanted to pull for you, because we don't get a lot of stroke gain data from a couple of the really good comparable courses, or should be a good comparable courses. Of course, I call it the vacation swing, and that would be the PRO, the Puerto Rico Open, and also Corrales, which this field that we have in front of us is pretty close aligned, except, if you take out like a Rahm and, I don't know, that's about it. I think Answer would play in a swing course possibly, or a Finau or whatever. But I want to just pull up what I could to see the guys that have kind of top 10, top 15 at these events over the last couple of years. See if I saw any, repeat customers. And funny enough, of course, we had Ryan Brim, who won with his last medical exemption at the Puerto Rico Open. And then the previous year, he had an 11th place, or a tie for 11th. And what does Ryan Brim do very well? He hits the ball really far off the tee. Also, it was crazy windy at the Puerto Rico Open this most recent. I think it was about a month ago. And watched a little bit of that because I picked a couple guys, I don't even remember now, that I had some bets on. But neither here or there. Just thought it was kind of interesting. Chad Ramey is going to pop up a couple times in the next one. If you look at a Grayson Murray, what does he do? Very elite on driving the ball length, about it. Johnny Vegas, actually, if he was in this field, he would be probably bad odds and probably be very high up there, because Johnny Vegas has had some success and this course should fit him. Funny enough, Cameron Percy does pretty well. So you'll see his name. I believe he's over here. He comes up in another one. Maybe it's at Corrales, but pops up a couple times, but he's not in the field, so you don't have to worry about him. And I think that was it. I think Nate Lashley also might pop up at the Puerto Rico Open and the Corral. So here's Puerto Rico Open. You can just kind of see some of the names that done well in the past there. And then if I pull up Corrales, which is at the Punta Cana, again, these are both very long courses past Palm. Also, you should get the wind conditions. Again, you see Chad Ramey, who popped up on both the Puerto Rico Open and Corrales. Of course, Chad Ramey won the recent. And someone that I'm interested in, again, you're going to see Cameron Percy pops up again, Johnny Vegas. I'm trying to see. And of course, you can see some guys like a Bryson Nemmer. He hits the ball a long way. But like a Brian Stewart, my guy that out of Central Michigan, does not hit the ball very long. But so you can get it done a couple different ways. There's Johnny Vegas again. And if I don't know if I mentioned, Cameron Percy pops up there. And then for Corrales, there's Nate Lashley again. Adam Long, I'm kind of interested in. For whatever reason, we'll go look at his history. But he Typically does pretty well on these vacation course swings. And Cameron Percy once again. So it's crazy. Hudson Swafford also does pretty well at these. Oh, and there's Nate Lashley. And Lahiri, which I think he popped up on one of the other ones. But anyways, I just wanted to show you. I mean, you're going to get total stroke gain, tee to green. That's it, but we can't break it down by off the tee, putting, approach, all those fun things. But at least you got some names, save you from having to go look through who's done well. I think the two better comp courses, Pass Palm, over 7,400 yards. You got, everything very similar on how this course should play. All right, let's go jump over into Fantasy National and do a little bit of a deep dive into these guys, and I'll let you guys know who I'm picking for my top 15 plays and then one and done. Okay, so I've jumped over to fantasynational.com, and I always plug these guys. If for whatever reason, if you are getting more and more into DFS golf and really enjoy it like I do, definitely invest at least even a month in this tool. And probably just from the stuff that I do, you guys could learn quite a bit. And before I go any further, I do have a couple guys that I noticed. I was just looking through Draftkings. Whenever I do my picks, I try to go through and make sure I don't pick anyone that is already WD'd from the event. And of course, there's two guys already. Nick Harding has pulled out, and also Kevin Chappell. Guessing maybe the back might be firing up a little bit. So just so you know, you'll see that on Draftkings. And what we're looking at here is my kind of the mini model. It's called in here the sneak peek, but it does a really good job of kind of giving a dashboard of everything that you want to see in one view. I've got no filters turned on here, and also I'm just pulling up the last 12 rounds. You're going to notice everybody kind of looks at this different. I like the most recent information. I believe that professional golfers definitely have their kind of swings where they'll have, 2 or 3 good tournaments and then can kind of fall off. Of course, you have a Scotty Scheffler that wins 4 out of 6. You've got the top elite guys. But when it gets to these kind of fields, you're going to find guys that are hitting a little bit of a spike, and hopefully we hit those guys in their spike. So with that said, I've got 15 guys that we'll dive deeper into, and then we'll talk at a high level over all the guys between, Jon Rahm at 11,003 down to around the 7,000 range. And then tomorrow I'll put out my favorite 5 picks, my top 5 for 7,000 below. Okay, with that said, what are we looking at? So I've kind of combined. If you take off the tee, that's driving distance and hitting fairways. It combines it. I like to break it out at times so I can see just by driving distance or by fairways. So when I do the larger model, that's why I do it that way. But off the tee is combined. I've got ball striking is the next thing that's heavily weighted approach. And then that proximity 200 out, I think, is going to be very key. And then we're going to need guys to score or gain strokes on the par 5s. You're going to see here birdies gained over the last 12 rounds, so 3 tournaments. And then here you can see recent results and tournament history. Of course, they're going to have 0 tournament history because they've never played here before. And with that said, the first guy you're going to land on at 11.3 is Jon Rahm, who right now is projected ownership at 20%. I am not going to give any information on Jon Rahm because you shouldn't have to need it. I mean, out of this field, if he goes out, plays a B minus game, hands down, he's one of the most elite talents, in any field, but of course in this field. So, of course, typically I try to fade the top guy, but there's no way in this field that I can fade him. Of course, also Jon Rahm is Spanish speaking from Spain. I don't know what kind of agreements he had with Grupo Solanos, whatever it is. It's interesting he's playing in this, and good for him. He usually did go play in the WGC Mexico event, so no shocker. But if he goes and wants to win this thing, which he could use a win from a FedEx Cup point of view, it's been a while, right? He won the U.S. Open at Torrey, should have won the Memorial, but hasn't had a win in the calendar 2022, and I think he's ranked 2nd in the world right now. So I see no reason why he wouldn't go out. And with that said, I will be using Jon Rahm in my top 15 player pool. And then you can get very unique and creative because you're going to have to, because it's not going to shock me that his ownership is somewhere around, 25 to 30% when this is all said and done in the large multi 250K purse. Well, I'm sorry, 250K to the winner, $20 entry, multi GPP tournament. Then the next guy you land on is Tony Finau. And Tony, you can make reasons to fade Tony. But everything, of course, he won the Puerto Rico Open, was his first PGA event. Then he won, of course, the FedEx event this previous year. That's his 2 wins. His ball striking has come back, and I believe that his putter is not going to be as crucial as a weapon that he needs. And what I'm saying is Tony Finau has not been a good putter. Always, that's been his Achilles heel. But on these past palm greens, they should be running slow. Also, being a resort course, I don't think they're going to be crazy undulation. I stated that in a preview. So I think we shouldn't have an issue. And you can see, typically that's where, well, even simpler, you can look over his last 194 tournaments. He's never gained with the putter. But he can have those spike weeks like anybody can. Ball striking is where he kind of fell apart a little bit, where he had some miscuts like at the Phoenix, the Farmers. The Players, I give everybody a pass for that, so I'm not worried about that. But what got me interested, we don't know at the Masters, but he did make the cut, had a 35th, so that was good. But then also at the Valero, he actually gained off the tee and approach and with the putter. Just, again, for whatever reason, which I always thought he had a really good short game, but it has, for some whatever reason, he's gotten to a short game kind of problem. Of course, he kind of got his break onto the PGA through the big break, and some of the stuff that he could do with his short game was just ridiculous. So hopefully he's worked on that, but we could also go take a look. Of course, he won the Northern Trust. I mentioned the Puerto Ricos as his 2 wins. No problem handling big boy courses. So he did have, of course, that second. So he had a really good, nice start to the 2021 season where he had the runner up, of course, lost to Homa in the playoff. And then also you had the Farmers at Torrey Pines. I think, again, I don't really have to sell you on those two. And then next guy you got to make a decision about is Abraham Ancer. Now, I told you guys in the preview show, anyone that is from Mexico, of course, has a Spanish heritage. I really have noticed when I watched the WGC Mexico that those guys, it means a ton to them to win in their home country. And I would have played Abraham Ancer, but with the withdrawal, of course, at his home course where he practices for the Valero, and then he played the Masters and then withdrew from the RBC Heritage, another really good fit. So the courses that he has a chance, especially RBC Heritage, to win, and then his home course where he practices, and he had a lot of something's wrong. I mean, we don't know what. He hasn't disclosed. I don't know if it's a wrist. I don't know if it's a neck, a back. Who knows? With that said, I can't risk, he hasn't played in, he missed the cut at the Masters, but that would be his last kind of tournament he's played in. I'm going to pass at 10-3. Too much risk. Now, I'll talk about from a one and done perspective. I already burned him. I can't remember where I played him. It was a great fit for him, and I think he literally missed the cut, or he came it didn't matter. He didn't do well. The next guy he falls to is Kevin Na, and for me, it's just not the kind of course. I'm actually a little bit shocked that Na is playing in this. He's usually pretty selective about playing courses that he typically can do well at. I don't see this as one of them. Now, we haven't seen actually plays. If it's dry, fast, and firm, then Kevin Na could be very live. Under that note, I will not be playing Kevin Na in my overall, kind of core player group. And you can also see, ranked in my model, he's 83. If you looked at that, this is the ranking here where they fall in this little mini model. Patrick Reed. Now, I actually think, let's go click on Patrick because I just want to show you this information. He's actually been playing a little better. You can see his irons. Now, we don't have the Masters, but you can see, a 26th or 35th. You can see all this red here. Typically his short game and putters where he's made, and you can see he gained a ton with the putter at the Players, so probably what got him here. Off the tee is still an issue. I told you guys about a ton of water. What I have seen is he was having a bit of the hooks when he would miss it. And you can see not pretty over the last 3 tournaments, all the areas. So, again, if you want to get unique and build, if you're putting a lot of lineups, again, yeah, get a little crazy. But I'm talking about if you're putting 10 lineups in, this would be my core player group. And that's probably 10 to 15 lineups will be the max that I put in the large GPP 250K first place event. So the guy that I'll go to is Gary Woodland. Again, has the pop off the bat. You can see he can get a little wayward. This isn't a distance problem. This is hitting a fairway problem. Everything else, so almost top 10 ball striking approach from 200 out, par 5. He's been making birdies. You can see at the Valero, which I mentioned is a Greg Norman design. I'm not saying there's a lot of crossover, but it is a Greg Norman design course. Also, El Camaleon, where they play Mayakoba there. is also a Greg Norman course. I don't know if I mentioned that yesterday, but that's his 2 PGA courses that he's designed that we see the guys play quite a bit. But yeah, good showing at Valspar. I think he even had a shot. Yeah, at Arnold Palmer had that issue in the sand trap on like what 17, I think it was 18. I don't remember now. We can take a look. Let's see. I wanted to see how many vacation swing courses Gary Woodland's played. We go by position. So, of course, his U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, Waste Management. He had a win. So there's Mayakoba. That's way back in 2016. Do it a different way. Let's see if I type in Corrales. He's never played. Puerto Rico. Whoa, way back in 2009. Bermuda doesn't play. What about OHL? You had a miscut there back in 2020. What if I type in Mayakoba? Because they kind of switched it. He had a miscut recently. But anyways, I like Gary Woodland, like where his game's at. And funny enough, right now it's showing he's got the highest ownership. You could probably start some builds there if you want to skip Rahm and Finau to get a little unique. Of course, Sebastian Munoz also pulled out of RBC Heritage. Undisclosed. We have no reasoning, but it was one event. It's been quite a bit of a break since then. He didn't play in the Masters, which, of course, RBC was after, so that doesn't really matter. Anyways, you can see pretty good form and does everything I like. Funny enough, he comes in third off the tee. And he's got a little pop in his bat. Typically hits a draw. Hits about 300 on average. Pretty decent accuracy. Really good ball strike. I always said, for me, Glover and him just have a very similar game. And it's just whatever happens with that putter. You can see that's typically where he can have issues, but he can also gain. I want to see if any past Palm comes up. I know that's Bermuda. I think that's bent. Just curious if he's ever had a good luck on. Nothing comes up. And again, I don't know how many times he's also played. There's the Valero. I wanted to see if he, I guess I don't know if he's ever played. So he did play Corrales once back in 2019. What about Puerto Rico? 2019, he had a 25th. What about OHL, Mayakoba? Nothing too great there. And I didn't play recently. Anyways, he's got a win at Sanderson Farms, which, you know, I think is a decent. I mean, it's a longer track. A little tougher, I think, than what this course will be. Has some good showings at the RSM. There's a WGC Mexico. That's at, let me see where that went. I just want to see. Oh, that's when they played at a concession. Which I think that's Jack's course. I think that was over 7,400 yards. Not a bad one to look at. It's kind of funny they picked that course because there's some similarities on what they would have played on the other ones. Okay, moving down the line. Tringale, you guys know I'm, funny enough, a fan. A lot of people do not like Cameron Tringale. I like him. 9,700. It's just really hard to get to. He had one good showing at RBC. His game was in a bit of a tiff. I mean, he had also a good showing at the Genesis. No reason he can't do well here. Will I sprinkle him in? Yes, I will. But let me just go click on him. I don't know if he's ever... What has he done in the vacation swing, if he's ever played? There's Corrales. He had a 52nd. That's a while ago in a miscut. What about Puerto Rico? Back in 2019, he had a 25th. What did he do? Let's see. He didn't play at the concession one. So WGC. Has he never played a WGC? Oh, way back. Wasn't permitted. All right. Chris Kirk. Not the course that I want to play now. Wouldn't shock me. Been playing Chris Kirk quite a bit, right? At the RSM. I had him for RBC. Of course, he missed a cut there, which I don't want to even go into that. Missing a putt on 18 from 5 feet. You see, ranks out well in the model. It's just, for me, it's not where I typically would think of Chris Kirk doing well. So with that said, I'm going to kind of skip past that. I want to check something real quick. Okay. For some reason, there was a rumors on another analyst show that Daniel Berger was in his field, where I've never seen Daniel Berger, and I was just trying to figure out why he was not coming up on me. He is not in this field. I don't know why that was ever mentioned. Not from me, but I would just had that thought. Why is Daniel Berger not popping up anywhere? The reason why is because he's not in this field. So you don't need to worry about Daniel Berger. All right, moving along. Aaron Wise, you can see he was on my cover. I'm a fan of Aaron Wise. I think he's always been very elite. Ball striker, just struggles with his short game and the putter. You can see, though, everything here. He comes up number 3 in my model. He's going to probably be widely owned. He'd be a guy that, if you faded him and he missed a cut, definitely could help out in the big game. But you can see playing pretty good golf. Already had a good showing at RBC. Arnold Palmer made the cut at the Players. Let's go take a look at his kind of vacation swing. You see he's got distance, not bad accuracy. It's the putter. It really probably gets illustrated. Sorry, right here. So on 109 events, typically does not gain with the putter, but at RBC, he actually did gain 2.6 strokes against the field with the putter on Bermuda. Smaller greens, all right. I mean, I don't remember watching a whole lot of, but I do remember him draining with that. I don't know, that long putter. So Mayakoba in 2020 had a second place, Bermuda. So he's had some decent showings. Mayakoba again. Let's go look and see what he's done at. Never played Corrales. What about Puerto Rico? Never played Puerto Rico. It's interesting. But I like Aaron Wise, and I don't think, again, there's a whole lot to say on him. If you've been watching golf for a bit, or if you haven't, I recommend playing Aaron Wise. I don't think I bet him, though. I think he was like 30 to 1, and I can't do it. Cameron Champ, I bet him. I'm not recommending him from a DFS. 9,400, I just can't do it. Now, he could easily come out and win. Of course, he had a good showing at the Masters. Hence, all of a sudden, just jacks his, he won at the 3M Open, which I mentioned, hit him 150 to 1. So he lost. I did see, I think, I don't know, it was on DraftKings Sportsbook. I think you get him at better odds. I just did everything through PointsBet. I didn't put a ton of bets out there. But anyways, yeah, I would bet him. I'd rather bet him than, probably from a DraftKings play, especially at 9,400. There's other guys, especially I'm kind of top heavy, right? I got the top 2 guys. Then you kind of scroll down, then you got Gary Woodland and Munoz. And you'll see I'm playing guys also that are pretty low. That's going to allow you to make some builds with these guys. So don't think it's all. I mean, I'm skipping through quite a bit of the 9s, even the 8s. And where I'm going to fall, funny enough, I mean, I guess I could talk about. Sorry, I'm making nauseous. All right. Brendan Todd, like a Chris Kirk, just not the fit for me. Russell Knox, the course, not the fit for me. Streelman, no. Matty Jones, if it was going to be windy, I did look at the weather. Looks like no wind, perfect 70s, 80s. So, I mean, out of that pretense, when I think of Matt Jones, he's super spike. I think he's a good bet at certain courses. And if it's going to be windy, I think of him. Doug Gim, good ball striker, terrible putter, but hey, maybe that's the fix. I said past Palm. But he's just not my brand. Some people love Doug Gim, not me. So Hithagala actually makes sense to me. Hasn't been the great recent form. He had that, really nice run there with almost winning the Waste Management. Valspar had a T22 at Corrales, so good comparable. Has kind of fallen a little bit behind where he's been playing. Again, for 8,800, I think I will put him in a lineup or two, but he's not going to be my core builds. Aaron Rye, really good from that 200 plus, but doesn't, the other things aren't great. I mean, the putter typically is pretty good. I think of him as pretty good short game, pretty good irons. Not the best off the tee. You can see he missed a cut at Corrales, Arnold Palmer, 60s, Valero at a T29. Again, I wouldn't shoot you. I'm not saying it's a terrible play. Again, this is a tough field to build and just stomach some of the pricing on these guys. But I'm going to skip him, and I'm going to go with Carlos Ortiz. And you can see he's been in terrible form, but I think ownership might be a little bit down. It's at 8%. I just know when he gets to this track, he's probably had the opportunity to play it quite a bit. That's my own. I don't know that for a fact, but he's been there for the openings. He's, of course, not from PV, but from Mexico, kind of a brand ambassador. So I'm going kind of on a limb, and I'm going to go with some Carlos Ortiz. I know he's got the distance. Typically, he can get super hot, as I mentioned. He's got to put together 4 rounds. You can see he almost won Mayakoba back in the fall of 21. Kind of funny, he hasn't played a whole lot of golf, is what I'm seeing here. But there's the Mayakoba. Twice he's done well there. There's Mayakoba again. He really must like Al Camilion. There's that WGC Mexico back at, that would be at the concession, right? Yep, concession club. even though that wasn't actually in Mexico, but still probably really wanted to win it. There's Golf Jade, the Club de Golf Chapultepec. I don't know why I always struggle with that. He's done well at that event. Like, I don't know. I'm just going. So this is kind of going against stroke gain data and going against what I know about when Carlos Ortiz plays either in a vacation swing or in Mexico or in a WGC for Mexico. Davis Riley, I don't know. When I think of Davis Riley, of course, he had a pretty good showing there with Will Z at the Zurich. I think of him as, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, haven't done enough analysis. Yeah, this is what I think of him. I think really good short game. I mean, he's not bad off the tee. Was he hit it? Got some distance, 308. I didn't think that he had that kind of distance. The irons make me nervous. He lost over 7 strokes against the field at the Heritage. So he's just not right now on my top of thought to play. That's it. Charles Hall, I already told you, he kind of came up in my large model. For whatever reason, CH3 does just not make sense to me at this course. Let me go pull him up real quick. We always, has a nickname ATM, right? I mean, he's typically going to get you a cut. Guy's made a ton of money with not a lot of wins. You can see 07, 2018, that's it. But look at all these second places. Like, it's real. It's third place, fourth places. The guy is an ATM on the PGA. But not for me. Lanto's game, it's a bit off, and that's it. And I'd rather play some guys in some different areas. So no thank you for Lanto. Taylor Moore, no thank you. CT Pan, this is a bit of a stroke gameplay. I know his game, but everything he rates out really well. And let's go take a click on Mr. CT Pan here. Of course, I mentioned, kind of his last hurrah was at the Olympics, kind of like Xander, right? But he won the bronze and beat that, crazy 6-7 guys that were all better than him. I think I saw, so there's OHL. Let's go pull up Corrales. Played there once, 61st back in 2020, so nothing great there. Did not play the Puerto Rico. Just curious, what about the Bermudas? He doesn't play a lot of vacation swings either, but I like his game for here. I think it'd be a little different play. Pretty decent form. Mark Hubbard, I actually kind of like playing that guy, but $8,000 for a guy that I think of him as a really good putter. That's what I think of him. So I'd rather go play Chad Ramey. You can see him making a ton of birdies. I mean, when he won at Corrales, it was, we're not going to see this, but I watched a bit. I think he led the field in putting. He just went Infoego with the putter. And we're not going to see that here. Not really long, but very accurate. And the irons can, kind of on and off is what I see from that. If I click on him, though, I mentioned, won the Corrales, the Mexico Championship. I think this was a Corn Ferry event at Bethpage. So there was actually a Mexico Championship. I think it was a Corn Ferry tour. Now I just clicked off him. Hold on a second. Let's go back to where he's had some successes. Okay. I'm just scrolling through to see if anything. The Panama Championship. I have to guess that's kind of a Panama Golf Club. So we'll call that a Corn Ferry vacation swing kind of course. Anyways, I like Chad Ramey. I'm playing him. He's going to be in my player pool. Funny enough, Anibal Lahiri, again, this is more of a stroke gain. I mean, I think of him, I don't think of him as the narrative of I want the Bombers. He's more very accurate off the tee, but he's been in really good form. And I think he's had some successes on this kind of track. Let's go pull that up. Let's go. So yeah, Corrales, he had a 6 back in 2020. Mayakoba, 10th. Bermuda. OHL again. I mean, some of these are a little older. OHL again. So I like Anibal. For 7,900, almost had a chance to win the Players. Playing in pretty good form. And then Adam Long, I talked a little bit about him on the preview show. I'm going with it. I mean, he's been in good. He's actually a good ball striker. He just, again, it's the putter with him, which is funny. He actually doesn't show that, but every time I see him, he's saying the irons. But when I've watched him, usually the irons are the thing. So a little bad on me. I guess it's more of his iron play. But you see Mayakoba, good finishes. Corrales. I think I looked at betting him, but I don't think his odds were that great. I think even the books kind of got on the Houston Open. It's kind of funny. Wherever he does well, he does well. Like Charles Schwab, twice he's done well. Houston Open, twice done well. OHL, but a good showing at Corral. Has he ever played in the Puerto Rico? Anyways, I like Adam Long, so he's going to be in there. Then Austin Smartman, you guys, if you know, he rates out #1 on my model. He's, like I said, very elite tee to green. It's around the green and putter for him. And I'll click on him. I don't know if he's going to have any. So he actually missed a cut at Corrales. There's that Farmers. Played the Corrales a couple times. Has not had success there. So from that, if you wanted to go with a comparable course, it might not be. But you can see, funny enough, his ownership's pretty high. I think people maybe are getting on the bandwagon with Mr. Smotherman. No, thank you, Lipsky. Scott Stallings been playing good golf. You see that there. He's got a little pop in his bat. I like him. I mentioned, already bet him. Let's see what he's done on some of these swing course events. So he won the Farmers way back. Likes the Farmers, which that's a long track. So he handles the big boy tracks pretty well. All right, I don't see anything come up there. Let's just go type in. So he's never played Corrales. What about OHL? Played there once, so not so good there. What about the Puerto Rico Open? Boy, it's been a while. So nothing from that standpoint, but again, I'm going with what I know. Wyndham Clark, you can see from stroke gain at the grades, but he had a nice showing at the Zurich. I mean, it's just, but where he has competed and almost have won, I know this, I've watched the tournaments, is these type of courses. So you see, had a second at Bermuda, had a 10th at Puerto Rico, also kind of weaker fields, but he's got that length, also pretty good putter. Corrales. So I like Wyndham Clark. I did not bet him. I didn't think I liked the odds when I saw it. I like to get him at least 100 plus if I'm going to be betting Wyndham Clark. But yep, I like him. I'm going to kind of skip through these guys. Nate Lashley, he just didn't make. I'm gonna use him. He didn't make my top 15, but I think he's a great fit here. You saw he's had pretty good success. We'll pull that up. No reason not to play Nate Lashley. He just, I don't know, whatever reason, I just kind of fell on some other guys I liked. But you see Corrales, he had a 4th in 2020. Good showings at the Puerto Rico. Corrales, I don't know why I did not plug him in. Honestly, he's probably a better play than maybe some. I might have to go back and redo that, but he didn't make my top 15 out the bat. But I think he's a great play. So play Nate Lashley. RCB, right? I mean, got a little Spanish heritage. Could be interesting. Always elite, tee to green. It's just been a while. Let's go look at RCB, what he's done. This course would make sense. It's funny. Did I just see he missed Corrales just recently? WGC Mexico at Chapultepec, Puerto Rico. This is way back. Bunch of WGC events. I don't know. He could be interesting. Funny enough, when I think of him, I think of a first round leader. He used to do that. He'd have a sneaky first round. So I don't know. I might sprinkle in some RCB. Just you can see his projected ownership so low. You know, I think he had a win. Something I have to go look at. I think he won over on the DP World Tour, the European Tour at the time. I think it was like 6 months ago, if I remember correctly. He had a really nice career over in Europe, and just when he came over to the States, it just never really translated. You know, never had a PGA victory. So RCB is, kind of an interesting play. I like Alex Smalley. Of course, he had that T2 at Corrales. I play him in Showdown. You know, he can get streaky. You see around the green and putter, but gains off the tee typically, need that length. You can see Bermuda, he's done well. Twice he's done well at Corrales. So it's just a fit, and so I like him. And let me see. I'm going to move across these guys, see if there's anybody else. I'm going to do this. I think that might be it for the guys that I'm looking at. Smalley, my last guy. Oh, Peter Uline. There we go. Again, stroke gain doesn't show it, but been playing pretty solid golf. 700 or $7 grand. I told you if you watch the show, got a lot of distance, maybe sometimes not the most accurate. He's been on tour for a while, right? His dad was what CEO at Acushnet, Titleist for a bit. Let's go take a look here. It's a little dated. Well, there's the Puerto Rico, but that's 2007. Let's go do it this way. Let's go look at those island courses. So you can see Corrales, 22nd, twice. So I don't know, last 3 times he's played, pretty decent for the price tag. Let's go look at OHLs, not play. What about Mayakoba if I type it? Nope. Puerto Rico. Here's those Puerto Ricos. Boy, he's played the Puerto Rico Open quite a few. Most recent, 38, 39, but also a 5th and a 6th. So it kind of just makes sense. So that's a bit what put me on to Peter Uihlein. Also, good showdown play. I mentioned that yesterday. If you are playing showdown, he can go out, shoot 6, 7 under, or go shoot 3 over. Like that's just his game. So I'll tell you guys right now, I might swap out CT Pan for Nate Lashley. So I'm gonna let you in on that right now. For whatever reason, I kind of moved over him. I like CT Pan too. They're both gonna get played. So if I had 16 picks, that would be it. All right. Let's go wrap this up and summarize it for you guys. Okay, so to summarize my top 15 core plays, start out with my Fab 5. I know I changed the titles. I think I had the varsity. I move all over, but I like the Fab 5, so we're going to go with that. My top 5 guys that I'll be playing in most of my lineups. No shocker, John Rahm, Tony Finau. Again, both elite ball strikers. We just need the putter to work for Mr. Finau. It'd be nice to see him get another win. Gary Woodland, he's due for a win, and also has got the pop in the back, good ball striker. I'm a Sebastian Munoz fan. I don't like the price tag, but it is what it is. On this field, I like to see him more in the 8s, but it is what it is. I like Munoz. I didn't get to bet him because of that, or Ware and Wise. Their odds are just crap, but that's my top 5 guys that I'm going with. All great ball strikers, all have distance. Just need to have that magic with the putter. Almost all of these guys are pretty much terrible putters except for Rahm. Okay, my on deck. Yes, I made a switch on the fly and I put in Nate Lashley. So see, even sometimes my own reanalysis tells me so. I swapped out CT Pan. I will still put Pan in some lineups, but I will have more with Nate Lashley. So he's going in. Got my Scott Stallings popping the bat. He's also, I feel like he's kind of due for a win. Anibal Lahiri, he's kind of, found his game. Let's see if it transitions. Again, not the greatest distance, but very accurate. And again, 20, 30 yards. It's going to help on some of these holes. But I think he can manage. Really good short game, particularly a good putter. Carlos Ortiz, 4 missed cuts in a row. I think this is going to kind of turn the tide. So he's kind of my, I don't want to say differentiator player, but I think he might be a little unique. And then Austin Smotherman, I'm going to ride this guy until I can't any longer. Great ball striker, and let's just see if he can get that putter and around the green going. And then last but not least, the unsung 5, the last 5 guys going in. Wyndham Clark, I like what he does on these swing courses, and he's got the putter, and he's got the distance off the tee. Same thing with Mr. Peter Uihlein, not so much made the putter, but has the pop in the bat, and just something about he just kind of feels like a good play for this one. Smalley had a good showing at the other swing at Corrales, and just makes sense. Adam Long, same thing. Now some of these guys, they've shown up now. Maybe it's the field, or maybe they just like playing these island courses. Adam Long fits right into that bucket. And last but not least, of course, Chad Ramey, who just won at Corrales and showed up there well. I like him as a play, especially for the price. So that's my top 15 core plays for you guys. Now for one and done. And one and done's a little different for this one. I've got John Rahm to burn. I'm going to burn him. I'm going to go ahead and use it. Yes, I could wait for a major, but I still got a lot of big name guys that I've not used. And in this field, there's no reason why Rahm could not go out and win. And I think it's 7.3 million purse or something like that. So it's $1 million something. So good for one and done. Of course, you can't go wrong. The guys that pretty much my top 5, I added Answer. And if you're trying to get a little unique, Scott Stallings I like. But yeah, Munoz, Wise, Woodland, if you want to kind of not burn your top, but I've already burned Abraham Answer. I burned Finau, I believe. Maybe it was at the Genesis. I don't remember now. So, some of the guys that I would maybe use as alternate, but I have Rahm sitting there and I'm like, hey, I don't have to put him against, JTs and the Rorys and the DJs, the elites. And then of course you got the Morikawas and Hovland, all those guys. Like Scheffler. I've got a spot to use Rahm where his game is far superior to the rest of the field. So I'm going to use him. So that's my one and done. And with that, that is my show. So again, thank you guys for spending some time with me. Do me the honor of clicking that like button, share it with anybody else that you think might be interested. And if you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter. I give you all the updates, anything I see coming through PGA Communications or anything, I see that goes on the course. So with that said, let's have a good Mexico Open. I will have a show out tomorrow. Give you my top plays below 7K, anything that I see from pressers. Prize picks have actually, someone asked me, I haven't been doing a whole lot with because they've had some issues. In short, they have a thing where you go to try to withdraw and it's been having some issues. So I'm not going to promote something that is not working at 100%. And so when that kind of gets turned around, I will let you guys know. All right. With that said, you guys take care and I'll talk to you tomorrow.